Home and away and far, far away from home, Andre Onana is conceding goals. The haters are indeed having a field day. Would you blame them though? 50 goals conceded by Andre Onana. And there is a very funny thing making rounds on social media, on Twitter. Someone posted that Onana has conceded 50 goals. He's conceding goals home, away, and far away from home. This after he conceded 3 goals in his first game in the Africa Cup of Nations as Cameroon got beat by 3 goals to 1 by Sadio Mane's Senegal. Now, there is never shame in any team being beaten by Sadio Mane's Senegal, and the football Senegal have played at the AFCON lately. But boy, that goal from Sadio Mane, a world-class goalkeeper, should have been catching practice for anyone. But anyway, let's get to talk about Andre Onana. My name is Webb. Welcome to the United Hotspot. Now, in this video, we are going to look at the main 5 problems of Andre Onana and why he's struggling. Subscribe and let's get into it. Now, my problem number 1 with Andre Onana is Onana is so full of himself. His body language speaks for itself. Onana is he know the fact that he's a United player. I think he thinks he has made it in life. So the way his body language, the way he moves, the way he smiles sarcastically, his plastic smile that he's always putting on, the way he talks in interviews, he's so full of himself, and that alone will take a lot away from you as a footballer. If you're going to shine at a big club like Manchester United, you've got to be humble. Andre Onana, I feel, is so full of himself, and it is seen in how he performs. I was at Old Trafford for the game between Man United and Tottenham, and I saw Andre Onana's warm up and the way he was. Even he came on later, of course, like most of the starting players. Baindil and Hitton were the first to come and warm up with their goalkeeping coach. Then when he comes on, the whole of Old Trafford is cheering. But the way he was even running and trotting onto the pitch, even the way he was kicking balls, the way he was diving while in the warm up, you haven't seen it. If you've not watched the Manchester United warm up, you've not seen Andre Onana. The boy is so full of himself, and trust me, the biggest level like that will humble you. That's problem number 1. Now, because he's so full of himself, he ends up playing in his head. Second problem number 4. Andre Onana plays football in his head. He's in between the sticks of Cameroon and Man United, but he's thinking everyone is watching me. He's the biggest star at Man United right now, by the way. Andre Onana, wherever he goes, is the most trending. On Twitter right now, he's the most trending guy. I posted a video about him, a short video on my shorts. It has got a record number of views. I've never got such views for a short video, for shorts in my YouTube. Same as TikTok. I think he has almost 60K views now because he's a star for doing nothing. So he is playing in his head. He has not yet got to terms with the fact that he's such a big name, that he's trending all over, that he's talked about everywhere he goes, that people come wanting his autographs, that they are giving him private jets to take him to from Manchester to Ivory Coast to play from club to country. He is playing in his head, and that's why takes me to the third problem he has got. He has moved away from the basics. When you're playing from in your head, you're playing for the gallery. You cannot do the basics because you want to look fancy, you want to look cool. When the ball comes, you're thinking, your mind is away. It's not focused on the game. So he is definitely going to fail on the basics. That's why you will find Andre Onana diving when he's supposed to be going and moving to get the ball. That's Sadio Mane goal. Any goalkeeper will tell you that was not a diving ball because it was a weak shot from a distance. He could have just walked, probably trotted to the ball and caught it. There was no business of him diving because it wasn't a strong shot from Sadio Mane. But that shows you that, again, his problems start from being full of himself, now playing in his head, thinking about, nothing about the game, but what the people in the stands are saying, what the stands are thinking, what story is going to be told about him. Then he deviates away from the basics, and boom, that's what you get. He's a disaster waiting to happen. He is a huge risk, and don't be surprised, by the way, if Rigobert's song, the song he will go down, but he will go down with him. Don't be surprised if he doesn't play him in the next game of Cameroon. Because this guy, I'm told he was not even talking to him when he arrived for the first game on his private jet. Probably Song was never excited by it because remember he banished him from the World Cup squad. So Andre Onana is so full of, and I saw him even the way he's pretending like he's going to stop and and sign autographs for little kids, and then he doesn't. And I had a kid, an African black kid at Carrington after there when I was there to follow the training. A kid was complaining that he keeps doing it and it's disrespectful. But this was about a 6 or 5 year old kid saying this. It's disrespectful. So he's indecisive. So problem number two that Andre Onana has got that makes him a bad goalkeeper and probably a wrong goalkeeper is he's not good enough. That's the fact. I think he has been exposed. If you're good enough, you cannot be making certain baby mistakes day in and day out. So the fact that he's got all those issues makes him not good enough. He's not good enough to be a Man United goalkeeper because I think partly, I feel like Onana's comeback was rushed. This is a guy who was banned from football for so many months because of those allegations of doping and what have you. And then he comes back a few months at Ajax, and then he ends up at Man United, and then he's a star. He's the star of everywhere. He's a global star because he reached the Champions League final. I feel like he was rushed, and he had not yet come up to the levels he has got to be at. Maybe he has shown signs that he can be a good goalkeeper, but all the issues and everything happening, the stardom coming so fast, I think, for me, makes him not good enough. In the current state, Andre Onana is not good enough. I saw him in his Porsche Cayenne, and I'm thinking, yes, you can enjoy your life, you can live it, but boy, you are not good enough. For me, that's big problem number 4, that Andre Onana is suffering. Yes, he's not good enough to play for Man United. He's probably not good enough to be the number 1 goalkeeper for Cameroon in the current state. Maybe at some point he was when he was at Inter, not since he joined Manchester United. Problem number 1, and guys, let's face it now, this is not the biggest problem, and this is the number one problem that Onana has. For me, I think it is the players ahead of him, the teams he plays for. Certain things really, especially at Man United, are not entirely his fault. I think we've seen how he was overexposed and always, makes a few saves and then he's exposed again. I think he has not been lucky to play with the right players in front of him for the longest time. For the most part of the games, he has conceded the 50 goals he has conceded. So I think that we cannot blame on him, but it is still a problem that he's facing, and we can't deny it. So for me, those are the 5 biggest problems of Man United, rather of Andre Onana. And what the verdicts should be for me is Onana needs to be given a rest. Let him rest. Let them stop treating him like his prime Casillas or Buffon or Van der Sar, giving him private jets from playing a game for Man United to play for Cameroon the next day. It doesn't even make sense. Those are things that go into his head and they make him think he's so great. And I saw him so animated for no reason, rushing and instructing a Cameroon player on what to do on a free kick. What's that? Even his celebrations show you he's so lover, he's so animated. He does way too much. And all that is because he's as if trying to prove a point to I don't know who. He's not settled, he's not calm. He needs to be calmed down. And the only way to calm down Andre Onana is by benching him. Yeah. So Rigobert Song, the ball is in your court. My name is Webb. Subscribe to the Hotspot. I'll catch you later.